If you can give your younger self, one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to 5 with T5. We're being local business owners, community champions, and all-around amazing individuals on to learn about them, their stories, or business in a quick and effective way. My name is Stephen Turnbull with T5 Insurance, your host, and I am joined by my guest today, John Calabrese Jr. with Express Employment Professionals. If you're joining us for the first time, we're going to start the clock with 5 rapid-fire questions for our guest, and then we'll get into learning a little bit more. John, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You ready to rock?
Yeah, I'm good.
Here we go. Question number one. Question number one. If you could spend one day with any celebrity, who would it be? First one to come to mind.
One day with a celebrity. You're throwing me off because I cheated and watched the other one. So you're throwing me
off. All different questions.
What celebrity? I'm not a big celebrity person, but I have a good one. I think Chris Pratt. He seems like a really cool, normal person.
I love
that. That's what I'm hearing a lot from like his interviews and people that know him. So I'd say Chris Pratt.
Fantastic. And all these questions are going to be brand new, so this is going to be live and great. So here we go, right off the cuff. Now these next two are a little serious, and then we'll loosen it up a little bit more. But if you first thing to come to mind when I ask you this question, if you can give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say keep working hard. It's all going to be okay. It might seem tough in the moment, but just keep working hard, keep moving forward. Everything will be okay. You and I know someone whose catchphrase was keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. And I think if you kind of live by that, everything will be okay.
Trust the process, right? Trust the process. Take it day by day, hour by hour, whatever you need to break it up.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, question number 3. You and I both came into this world at a similar point of business ownership. What is your favorite part of business ownership?
I think my favorite part of business ownership is your destiny is completely in your hands. You're not waiting for someone to bless you with the next step.
Sure.
Your destiny is completely in your control, good or bad.
So good or bad. Yep.
Good or bad. It's on you. You're not necessarily waiting for someone to give you that opportunity, which I know you and I were in similar situations where we think we're ready, but
yeah. I appreciate you bringing up the good or bad, because I don't think people that have not been in that seat understand the bad, right? I mean, you make a pivot, you make a move, it's on you. And the result of that, whether it's good or bad, is on you as well. So I appreciate bringing that up. All right, the next two are a little easier. Tomorrow morning, you wake up. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in upstate New York. Tomorrow morning, you wake up. You have $1 million in your bank account, tax-free. What's your first purchase?
Like fun purchase or smart
whatever
purchase? Whatever you want.
First thing. Tax-free, remember. You got all of it.
Probably a camp, some sort of camp. I need like an outdoor space camp.
Love it.
That's what I'm missing in my life right now.
Last question. This might be my favorite one. I think this is going to be fun. If you can create a new holiday, what would the holiday celebrate, and how would people celebrate that holiday? That's a good one.
I like this one because it kind of ties into some other stuff that we'll probably talk about. But I think like a National First Responders Day would be awesome. Because you and I probably talked about this before. So I joined the fire department last year. So I'm officially a first responder, which is exciting.
Love it.
And I think they don't like a first responder holiday. I think would be great. People would love it. Yep. And then first responders would feel appreciated.
Sure.
I'd be down for that.
Let's make it happen. You heard it here first on 5 with T5, everybody. First responder holiday coming to you in 2025. We'll get it set up. Perfect. John, you made it through the 5 questions. You survived. I love the fact that you studied the episode that came out last week and thought all the questions were going to be the same, and then realized in the middle of this that they weren't. That's great. He's got a notebook down. That's fantastic. You absolutely crushed it. And you did it under 5 minutes too.
Perfect.
Oh man, that's fantastic. That's good. John, someone watching this right now It's a quick interview. We're done in 10 minutes here. We got a lot to cover. Tell us about John Calabrese, and then I want to get into Express and the other things we want to talk about. But tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I'm a dad of two, which is probably my highlight of my life at the moment. So I have a older son that's 4, Johnny, the third, and then a younger son, Vinny, that's 2. So that's kind of my whole life at the moment. I'm pretty easy to define. It's work and then kids.
Work
So
and then dad mode.
that's kind of my whole life in a nutshell. So I work at Express, and then and then I've got my kids at night that keep us busy. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, I've been in the greater Utica area my whole life. I went away to school for a little bit, but graduated from SUNY Poly, and been working with Express since we opened in 2013. If you want to segue right into the Express.
Yeah, tell us about it. If I'm listening to this and learning about it for the first time, what is Express? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Express Employment's a full service staffing company. So what we do is we get jobs from companies and we find people to fill those jobs. So I have a team of really talented salespeople that goes out and procures jobs for my really talented recruiting team to fill. So we're making connections between companies that need people and people who need jobs. Now is the hardest time ever for hiring, it seems like. So regular HR departments, it's a lot more strenuous to do hiring. So then they look to companies like us to kind of fill the gaps. It's what we specialize in. Like, Steve, you're a great insurance guy. Like, insurance is what you do. Hiring may not necessarily be what you do.
Sure.
It is what we do. So that's the value that we kind of provide to our clients. We're part of an international franchise organization. So my family owns the Utica-Rome territory. So it's everything in Madison, Oneida, and Herkimer counties. So what's cool is we're super local. We only work with local companies, which is great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you just said that you help fill the gaps. What are some of those gaps that you guys help fill in your offerings?
A lot of the companies we work with have like understaffed HR departments. So the typical rule of thumb is you need to have around one person in your HR department for every 100 people you have in your headcount. So there's a few companies here that maybe they have 400 or 500 employees, but they only have 1 or 2 HR people. They need support with staffing, especially now post-COVID. It's so hard to find people. If you don't, a lot of the companies we work with don't have dedicated talent acquisition teams. So they're kind of outsourcing that to us.
Sure. That makes sense. Now I'm going to ask you, or not, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to just say this statement and I want you to respond to it. Anybody in the business world in the last couple of years, and you hinted to it a little bit, if you ever talk to them, right, out in the community, chamber events, whatever it is, the number one thing that people are talking about right now is you can't find good people today. Yeah. I can't find any help. I want to leave that completely open-ended and let you respond to that.
So people ask us every day that same question. I don't have a great answer for it. And it's all super localized. So I mentioned I was at an Express trip last week, and I got to talk to a bunch of other Express owners throughout the country. They're not all in that same position, especially in the South. Express started in the South, so they kind of, those are some of the biggest offices. They don't have as much of a crunch for employees as we do here. So I think we feel it a lot here in our area. Why? There's a mix of different reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
I think especially like the local labor market didn't snap back after COVID. So we're still feeling the effects of COVID on the workforce here locally. Locally, we also had a couple huge employers come in, great paying jobs in manufacturing, a lot of them willing to train. So they're bringing in all these jobs. They're not necessarily bringing in a lot of people. So it's all supply and demand of people. Yeah. The demand for people here is super high. And the supply is not, there's obviously enough people to work the jobs, but it's not high enough where people don't feel the pain. We all kind of feel that pain.
Sure. Yeah. Let me say another statement. And I want to hear you talk about this too. There's another buzzword out there, especially the last couple of years,
Yeah.
called culture.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So culture's everything. And in a super competitive labor market like we have in our area, people are going to leave a bad culture to go to a good one. So they're leaving for pay or they're leaving for culture or a combination. So if you don't pay well and you don't have a good culture, like don't ask why you don't have anyone.
Sure.
If you have really good culture and really good pay, you're probably not having the issues that some of the other companies might be having. Culture is super important. I think it's something that it's easy to take for granted. Maybe you have like a vision statement poster on the wall somewhere, but that's it.
Right.
It's got to be something that you're doing every day. That's something that we work on here. What we do at the core of it is we help people find jobs. You have to be here for that reason. You want to help people find jobs, and that's really our culture of helping people. We're not here purely for profit. We're here to help people, and it's super rewarding. It's why I do it every day.
Yeah.
That's our culture. If you're a business and you don't really know what your culture is, you really got to take time to figure that out.
So I'll take it as a compliment because I have a value statement poster right over here, but I'm the only one that's looking at it so far. So that's
Yeah,
okay. All right.
yeah.
So I'll work on that once we start growing the team. But I'll
I
tell you
have
one
it on
thing.
the wall too. That's why I bring it up.
It,
We have a great sign company that puts them up here, but
yeah. And
sometimes that's it. Sometimes it's just the sign and that's it. But you really have to like live it.
I just think in today's age, especially from employee to business owner in the last couple of years,
Yeah,
the opportunity to create a good culture, and one of our core values is have fun, and that
yeah,
might be funny to some people because right now
yeah,
it's me and a virtual employee that does not come into my office, but
yeah.
I'm building that core value for the future because it's gonna
Hmm.
like I think there's so many opportunities to have a good team bonding, have a good culture
Yeah.
with the virtual work, the hybrid work, everything that kind of COVID and all the changes in the last couple of years provided.
Hmm.
The opportunities there, and there's so many different things you could do to make people feel valued, to make people feel appreciated, that aren't going to drastically affect your bottom line or how many hours they're working a week. And like you said, the money or culture, they're looking at either or. So if you
Yeah.
if both aren't there, it's time to
Don't
look in the
wonder
mirror.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I could talk about that for way more than 15 minutes. So we'll
Yeah.
pivot a little bit as we look to wrap up. Tell us about the veteran stuff that you guys do. I always love highlighting that. I think
Yeah.
the work you do there is amazing. Why, how, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the veteran supply drive was something that we started in 2016. So we bought this huge truck, big military truck. We did a lot of parades and food drives with it. We saw a need locally just because of where our office physically is. We're right next to two veteran specific food pantries. You would never know. We just knew because we became neighbors with them. So it opened our eyes to like how many people, how many veterans need help. It's like, oh my God, I did not know that so many veterans needed help. So we saw that as an opportunity and just threw our time and effort and money at it. And we made a really cool program that we ran for a few years with a ton of success. And unfortunately, COVID kind of wrecked a lot of the events that we were doing with that, but we still support those organizations. And over the course of the whole program, we donated like over 30 tons of food to the two local food pantries. So like they have scales and they weigh it all. That's just how they track it. So, I mean, we're unloading truckloads of food to the two local food pantries. So we're super proud of it. It's one of the coolest things I've been blessed to do in my life. And yeah, no, we're not trying to get anything out of it. We didn't get any business out of it. We didn't make any money on it. It's not anything like that. We just delivered food to two food pantries. So that's what it's really cool and super happy to have been able to do that. Yeah, I mean, everything about Express is on our website. We have a really good website. So that's expressmohawkvalley.com. That has everything you need to know about Express. My contact info is on there too. Anything you need on that front, definitely go through the website. And then we'll have like the social stuff tagged on this too.